What is going on, Knicks fans? Welcome on in to Knicks Media. Oh, we got a lot to talk about today, folks. There is a lot of news circulating around the New York Knicks world that I want to highlight with you all in this show. Big time shout out to all the Knicks fans that's tuning on in. Without further ado, let's get right into it because Giannis Antetokounmpo trade rumors are out there. Kevin Durant trade rumors are out there. Who the Knicks are going to bring in as their next head coach to replace Tom Thibodeau? Will it be Jason Kidd? Will it be one of the coaches that already has a job, like the Houston Rockets coach, Udoka? There's so many guys. Are the Knicks going to hire someone like Johnny Bryant? Woo! A lot of speculation, a lot of rumors, a lot of trade packages I'm seeing people flirt with around the Knicks world. So let's get straight into business. Make sure you guys simply share the show. Download the Bleacher Report app. If you're on the Bleacher Report app, make sure you guys share this on Bleacher Report. If you're just tuning in, make sure you hit the like button as well and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get straight into Tom Thibodeau first and foremost. We're not going to go deep into the firing of Tom Thibodeau, but it's more about the replacement of Tibbs. It's important here that the Knicks get this hire correct because the Knicks are in a situation right now where you can argue that I don't know how else to say it besides there's giant shoes to fill. Now, I know some Knicks fans don't really like Tom Thibodeau and their media like, screw Tibbs, he didn't do nothing for us. Well, he did do a lot. Back-to-back 50-win seasons, getting the Knicks to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. That is something. So I feel like going more modern day NBA, and there's also been rumblings that we're all hearing now, is that there's certain players in the Knicks organization that kind of went to owners and said, yeah, I'm not really a big fan of Tom Thibodeau. I don't really want to play underneath him. Though we don't know who those players are, but according to some sources, they basically said that James Dolan, the Knicks owner, he went up to all the players, right, of the New York Knicks and asked each player their opinion on Tom Thibodeau. I mean, that right there tells you all you need to know, that he is probably going to get fired. If your owner's asking you your opinion on the coach, it just gives you reasons to fire them, right? So obviously some players were honest and spoke out, and somebody said that, and you heard from Mikal Bridges in the middle of the season saying, hey, I'm playing way too many minutes. Maybe I'm not utilized. It could have been Bridges, could have been OG, could have been anybody. But the case is Tom Thibodeau's gone. And now that he's gone, the replacement has to be better and then some. I want this coach that the New York Knicks get to be the next coach for 5+ years beyond. We want this guy to be the face of the Knicks for a long time because this Knicks team is set up for some success right now. There's a window. It has to be a mixture of a win-now coach that can help this team go out there and help them win a championship this year and someone to build with for the long run. And I think there's a lot of candidates out there, right, that the Knicks are interested in. Now, Jason Kidd. You talk about Jason Kidd, right? This is a really interesting discussion about Jason Kidd because the thing about Kidd is I have a feeling he'd be open to this. I don't know anything, but I feel like the Knicks going after a guy like Jason Kidd with the Dallas Mavericks, that tells me that they maybe know something. And knowing Leon Rose, man, I mean, he tampered with Jalen Brunson, by the way, which cost the Knicks some draft picks. I'm not saying he's tampering or anything, doing bad against, the CBA or whatever, but the Knicks are obviously going aggressive for Jason Kidd. And maybe Jason Kidd tells the Dallas Mavericks, please don't veto my opportunity. You guys traded away Luka. I know I have an opportunity to coach Cooper Flagg, who is a really good prospect. He got the first overall pick by winning the lottery. But what if Jason Kidd simply wants to go to New York? This is a really good opportunity. I would love Jason Kidd to be this Knicks head coach. Another reason for that we've talked about is Jalen Brunson's relationship with Jason Kidd, I think is very important to note. That's an important relationship, man. You talk about Jalen Brunson and Jason Kidd. They have chemistry together. They've played together. I mean, you talk about a guy in Jason Kidd that coached Jalen Brunson, and we also heard from Jalen Brunson on the Roommates show a few months ago, of them both, Jalen Brunson saying, exactly, Jason Kidd is my second favorite coach behind Tibbs. that I played for. He obviously has a chemistry, obviously has something that he enjoys with Jason Kidd. So that right there is interesting. And I feel like seeing the picture of them together on the screen on the screen here, I mean, I'm down for it, folks. I'm absolutely down for it. Now, it feels like a long shot still, right? It feels like a long shot from the perspective of we have to know for sure that Jason Kidd is down to leave the Dallas Mavericks, number one. Number two, the Mavericks have to be open and honest and grant permission, which is not always an easy thing. Some of these teams block it and say, no, we're not giving up our guy. We're not giving up our, coach here, right? So I think there's a lot of different ways you can look at this. I really hope that this happens because it's my personal favorite. And you talk about all the candidates there. I think there's I don't want to use the word ego or anything, but I think Leon Rose feels like this Knicks head coaching job is when this is available, he feels like he can fish some of the really good coaches from the Western Conference to the Knicks by offering them this opportunity. Because when you win in New York, you are an absolute savior. And with Jason Kidd being able to come to New York and potentially coach his team to the NBA Finals, which we've proved we were right there. I mean, 2 wins away from the NBA Finals. That's no more stretch of imagination. Then it's a legit possibility, man. So I hope that happens. I hope Leon Rose can pull off some magic. I don't know if it will happen for sure, but he's not the only guy that the Knicks are going to be looking after, of course, to be their next head coach. Now, I want to talk about the Giannis Antetokounmpo situation here, because there's some more rumblings about him potentially staying put with Milwaukee, right? He hasn't technically officially requested a trade yet. And I don't know if people realize that. I don't know if people realize that Giannis hasn't officially requested a trade. So I don't know what that tells you guys. I know some people be like, oh, he's going to request a trade. It's a matter of time. But we know Jason Kidd coached Giannis. That's a great thing to note. Absolute great thing to note. And I feel like when you're a Knicks fan, you look at Giannis, if he becomes available and he wants out of Milwaukee, I bet you if the Knicks bring in Jason Kidd to be their head coach, he may demand, I want to go to New York. I want to be a Knick and coach and have Jason Kidd as my coach and be with Jalen Brunson. And we've seen a lot of trade packages out there. A lot of trade packages that I'm like, wow, I would do that in a heartbeat. Okay, so you guys let me know your thoughts of that. I feel like it still feels like a pipe dream, in my opinion. Definitely still feels like a pipe dream. But, hey, you never know. So Bleacher Report, which is where we're live right now on Bleacher Report, they came out with an article. And in that article, they came up with a trade package that I wanted to highlight with you guys. Right? So in the hypothetical trade of the Knicks acquiring Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? This is an interesting situation that we got here. A very interesting situation, because you look at the Knicks potentially landing Giannis, you would assume it's going to cost the Knicks a lot, right? Because Giannis is like the face of Milwaukee, brought him a championship, all that stuff. But this is the trade package on Bleacher Report's website. The Knicks get Giannis Antetokounmpo and Tyler Smith from the Bucks. Milwaukee gets Karl Anthony Towns from the Knicks and the 2025 second-round pick from Brooklyn, and Brooklyn's going to be involved. It's a 3-team trade in this hypothetical scenario. And the Brooklyn Nets get Pacome Daddier. So basically the Knicks, they give up Cat and Pacome Daddier, and the Knicks get back Giannis. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I would do that in a heartbeat. I would do that in an absolute heartbeat. Okay? Now, there's a lot of other trade packages that they do, hypothetically, but I think it's going to cost way more than just Cat and Pacome Daddier. Obviously, the Brooklyn Nets being involved helps out here a little bit, but I think it's going to cost the Knicks a little bit more than that. I like the opportunity for the Knicks to be aggressive here, but you never know. Here's another potential trade that's a little bit more, oh my gosh, there's a lot here. The Knicks get Giannis, while the Bucks get OG Anunoby, Brandon Clark, Vince Williams, Gigi Jackson, and like a million picks, it seems, on their website. And the Memphis Grizzlies are involved in this one. They're the third team. So that's a crazy scenario. The Grizzlies get Mikal Bridges in that trade. So this is those types of trades that we're talking about, the Knicks with Giannis, where it would be a master trade. It would be monstrous. It would be absolutely massive. Where this trade is really hard to pull off. It's going to be really difficult for the Knicks to figure this out. But the one thing I do know is that Leon Rose is a wizard, man. Leon Rose is someone I trust. Okay? If there was somebody I believe that can pull off landing Giannis, if he's available, of course, it's this man right here, Mr. Leon Rose himself. And Leon Rose is a mastermind. He's not perfect, but he loves trading. He has a lot of connections in this league that makes me feel like he could easily pull it off if he wants to. If these stars align where you hear Jason Kidd's interested in leaving the Mavericks and you hear Giannis is interested in the Knicks, I feel like Leon Rose is going to put all his eggs in the basket and trade for him. Because do you know what a Giannis Antetokounmpo trade does to this Knicks franchise? We finally get that superstar. And the cool thing about it is Giannis isn't coming here to save us. Giannis wouldn't be coming here to put the team on his back and lift us to the promised land. No, this team's established now. This team has proved that we are an actual contender now. We already have a superstar on our team. We have a face of the franchise, and his name is Jalen Brunson. So the idea of pairing Giannis with an already star of Jalen Brunson, and you're talking about Giannis as a legit superstar, won a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks, grinding his way, getting drafted by that team, getting developed, brought home a chip. That's a real superstar in my book. I would absolutely be on board for trading for Giannis, and I hope it happens. And the Knicks getting that. But I also want to tame my expectations because I still think it's a little bit of a pipe dream here because of the whole perspective of, listen, we're talking about, think of that for reality for a sec. The Knicks landing Giannis and landing Jason Kidd. That seems a little bit too good to be true here, right? Now, the next player I wanted to highlight and talk to you guys about is Kevin Durant, because we saw a crazy report come out there from Shams of ESPN last week of the Knicks were aggressive in trying to trade for Kevin Durant during the trade deadline this past season. And that makes me think, why would the Knicks not try to do that all over again? I feel like that would be very interesting, and I would love to hear you guys tell me in the comments, what's your thoughts of the Knicks going after Kevin Durant? Say the Giannis thing doesn't fall through. Is this a player that you'd be interested to go after? Is this a guy that you feel like the Knicks would be smart to target in the offseason? Because the Knicks are constructed in a very interesting way. We don't have a lot of money right now to just sign a free agent. And by the way, there's not even free agents available this class. That's good. You got to trade for players. The NBA, the teams that want to improve their team this offseason is going to be all about trades. And the Knicks are going to be involved. And the fact that they were calling the Phoenix Suns, according to Shams of ESPN, and they were close to trading for Kevin Durant, but it didn't happen, that is mind-blowing to me. I did not expect that. And that's why I keep saying, you never know with Leon Rose. You never know what he's up to. He's going to trade your favorite player. After, 5 years now with Leon Rose, I've learned that he is going to trade my favorite player. My favorite player on the Knicks, Mitchell Robinson is always my favorite player. He could be traded. Deuce McBride, he could be traded. Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG. I think everybody on this roster is tradable besides Jalen Brunson. Not that I want them to be traded, but from Leon Rose's perspective. When he traded away Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle, the timing that he did to start off the season last year, right before training camp, that told me all I need to know. So Giannis and Kevin Durant, they're not the only two guys the Knicks are going to be targeting. I'm sure there's other guys that the Knicks will be going after. Another name to watch in free agency, and this is probably the best Knick that we are potentially losing in free agency this year, which is going to sting, is Precious Achiuwa. Now, the thing about Precious Achiuwa is he wasn't really part of the Knicks rotation. He was a depth piece. And I love Precious, but there's a chance that he's gone. There is a big chance that he is gone this year, folks. He's entering free agency. I don't know if the Knicks are going to have enough firepower to bring him back. I would love for the Knicks to bring him back, but he's unlikely to re-sign with the Knicks. based off all the reports. So that's the latest thing to know about Precious Achiuwa. He is definitely going to be on another team. Anything can happen. Maybe something weird happens where he comes back. But with Thibodeau leaving, I think that's another thing. Precious and Tibbs, I think definitely were on the same page with things. But now I would expect him to be gone. Cameron Payne, Landry Shamet, other veterans, that's going to be a pending free agent that's probably not going to come back, if I had to guess, right? So that's that news. Now, I feel like Jim Dolan, him getting involved in things is getting me a little bit worried. I was giving Jim Dolan a lot of credit this past year because it felt like he kind of took a back seat, right? And let Leon Rose do his job. And I really hope that continues because the last thing that this basketball team needs is Jim Dolan coming on in and getting involved like he used to do all the time and make decisions. Based off the reports, this was a Leon Rose decision that was backed by James Dolan, which is good. That's what we want. We want Leon Rose to be making these decisions. We want Leon Rose to go to the owner and say, hey, I'm thinking of firing Tibbs, and Dolan does that. So we don't know, but apparently Dolan interviewed the players like, hey, what's your thoughts of Tibbs? Right? So that's where I'm just like, all right, Dolan, I think he deserves a lot of credit, man. He's done a tremendous job of hiring Leon Rose and stepping back, and it brought the Knicks to relevancy, brought the Knicks to contender status all over again. So let's hope that continues. But this is his opportunity. Let Leon Rose go out there and find the right guy for the job, and I hope that he does. I really hope that he does. I just wonder how he's going to be able to pull this off, talking about Leon Rose now, from the perspective of the targets that he's going after, Leon Rose, are all coaches on other teams. They're all coaches on other basketball teams. Like, how do you think that's going to be pulled off? Like, let's talk about Ime Udoka from the Houston Rockets for a second. I mean, does he expect the Rockets to just be like, yeah, you can have Ime, our head coach that brought us to the second seed of the Western Conference and doing a great job developing this franchise, right? Like, I don't know if this is unless he knows something we don't, unless Leon Rose has so much confidence of this job that he feels like he can lure away a guy like Udoka from the Houston Rockets. The Rockets need to be able to grant it. So it's an interesting approach. Like, the top three guys that we're hearing that the Knicks are going after are all coaches for a team in the Western Conference. And the Rockets are not going to say yes to this. They're going to say no. And I don't expect that to happen. I really, really don't. Right? Another coach that the Knicks are going after is Chris Finch. Chris Finch is another coach in the Western Conference. That is fantastic. But isn't this an interesting approach? Like, it's a little... I've never seen it this way. We've seen guys like in the NFL. We've seen Sean Payton, for example, get traded to the Broncos. Like, I mean, this happens before when you're a coach and you're under contract for one specific team and you want to change squads. A trade can happen between, organizations for a coach. But it's just an interesting approach that these are the guys he's going after. Is there not a coach right now that's available that Leon Rose likes? Is there not somebody that's an assistant or a former head coach that doesn't have a job that he wants to go after? Because that's the guys that he's targeting. The college coaches are ruled out. The Knicks are not going after Jay Wright. They're not going after any of the college guys. That already happened. And let me ask this too. Don't you guys feel like if Johnny Bryant was a legit candidate, we'd be hearing that and he'd kind of like have the job already? Right? Like, I'm a big Johnny Bryant fan. I would love the Knicks to hire him. I mean, but that's a lot of risk involved with Johnny Bryant, but I'm a big fan of Johnny. I think Johnny Bryant would be a fantastic hire. I think he's been just slowly been getting built for this position throughout his entire coaching career. But don't you guys feel like if Johnny Bryant was the favorite and the Knicks wanted him, he'd have the job by now? That's my only concern with a guy like Johnny Bryant. And it's not really a concern. It's just wondering. It's scratching my head. Like, what's the timetable? I think we're all of a sudden, the end of this week and early next week, all of a sudden there's going to be a lot of news coming out about the Knicks. Like, exactly who the coach they're searching, because the Knicks want to fill this position. I know the NBA Finals is underway right now, and the season isn't technically over yet, but the NBA goes very fast. All of a sudden, NBA Finals is done, and then you look up and it's free agency, and then you blink, it's the NBA draft, and then all of a sudden it's summer league, right? The Knicks are going to want to find their coach by the time, and they want that coach to have a plan and be on board with everything they're about to do here. So this is not going to be something where the Knicks can take their time to find their next head coach. I think that this is going to speed up. The process is going to get sped up a little bit pretty soon, and I really do believe that. And I think that if you're a Knicks fan, I would recommend putting your full trust in Leon Rose, man. I think he earned our trust. At least he earned my trust. And I think you guys can have your own opinion on that, of course. But he's definitely earned my trust as a president of this basketball team. I feel like he's going to go after the right guy. He's the one that hired Tom Thibodeau, which I think was a great hire at the time, and it proved to be a good hire. Just because it didn't work out with Tibbs doesn't mean it was a failure. I'm not going to look back at the Tom Thibodeau era with the Knicks as a failure. I don't know about you guys, but hopefully we look back at this moment of Knicks history of Thibodeau built the foundation, got them over the hump, got them to be contenders, and then whatever coach they brought in, that brought them over the hump, and the Knicks won a championship. That's like, if the Knicks win a title in the next few years, I'm giving Thibodeau some credit here. You feel me? Like, obviously he doesn't deserve credit for winning a chip if the Knicks do it. He's not the coach, but he was the guy that came here to win Coach of the Year and bring the Knicks back to relevancy for the first time, and feels like, well, 7 years at the time when he broke that playoff drought, and then he brought the Knicks to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 20-plus years. So I think that the coach that the Knicks are going to bring in has to be aligned with Leon Rose, because Leon Rose 100% has a vision of personnel of this offseason. He's probably already making calls, calling guys like Giannis's camp, calling Kevin Durant's camp, calling maybe a player that none of us sees coming. That's another thing. I bet you there's a guy out there that Leon Rose is targeting that no one is talking about. That could be a big piece. And there's also a world here where maybe the Knicks love this roster, the way it's constructed. Maybe Leon Rose is like, you know what? I think this team, because this Knicks team is under contract. There's no big free agent. We're not losing anybody monumental. Last year was big. We lost Isaiah Hartenstein. That was a big loss. But the Knicks don't have a huge free agent. Nobody in the rotation is leaving. Precious Achiuwa, Landry Shamet, Cameron Payne are the guys that are leaving. And I think those guys are replaceable. And you know who should replace them? The guys that got drafted by the Knicks last year. The year 2 players. Bacome Daddier should get some minutes this year. Tyler Kolek. Ariel Hukporti can be the new Precious Achiuwa. And that's why draft picks and drafting well sets up organizations for sustainable success. And we need to get those guys minutes. And now we're going to have a brand new coach that's going to play the kids. I'll tell you that much. Right? I mean, I can tell you right now that a lot of Knicks fans can take a deep breath of a sigh of relief that Tom Thibodeau is not coaching. So the kids will play. And that was probably the biggest complaint of Knicks fans throughout the Tom Thibodeau era is play the kids. He plays people too many minutes, right? That's what everybody says, right? And I think that the Knicks right here are in a very interesting spot. And can I also just make a joke real quick? It's not really a joke, but come on, man. Tell me that the Knicks are not the talk of the league during the NBA Finals. We're stealing the headlines. They're talking about the Knicks firing Tom Thibodeau, being in for Giannis, in for KD. You turn on national media, of course, they're talking about the NBA Finals, but they're literally at the finals in Oklahoma City, and Brian Windhorst and them are talking about the Knicks. That's why we are so rabid fans. Like, we are the New York Knicks. We are the Knicks fan base, and we embody the pressure. That's why we over-celebrated. And I say over-celebrate with love, not bad, not maliciousness. There's nobody like Knicks fans, man. And I trust you, Leon Rose. Bring in the right guy for the job. I think we're going to find our head coach in the next week. I would give it till like next week. Maybe 2 weeks, tops. I think this is going to speed up a little bit. I think we're going to find out a little bit more about Jason Kidd. Because if Jason Kidd is the target, man, like think of it from Jason Kidd's perspective. Don't you feel like if you're Jason Kidd, you'd want to come to the Knicks? Let's keep it a buck. If you're Jason Kidd, right, and you coached the Dallas Mavericks to the NBA Finals last year with Luka as the big reason for it, and then they trade Luka without his green light. Let's not forget what happened with the Mavericks. They traded Luka, and Jason Kidd was in the dark about that. If I'm him, I'm pissed. If they did not have the first overall pick of getting Cooper Flagg, then I'd be like, bro, he 100% wants out. But I feel like Jason Kidd getting traded to the Knicks would be massive, even if the Knicks get Giannis or not. The Giannis thing is still a pipe dream. It's still like a far-fetched. I'm not seeing that happening. But tell me it doesn't make it. Tell me it makes perfect sense of him coaching up Jalen Brunson, him having a lot of coaching experience, a former player, played for the New York Knicks. This feels like the guy. Oh, man. But it's out of our control. The Dallas Mavericks can say, absolutely not. We are not granting you permission. But then what if Jason Kidd is telling the Mavericks, like, hey, bro, but I want to go to the Knicks. Let me go. I don't want to be here anymore. I hope that's what happens, man. Because I find it hard to believe that Leon Rose is going so hard aggressive for Jason Kidd without thinking there's an actual chance here. And I also hope that Leon Rose has some good backup plans, because if this is his first priority going after 3 coaches in the West that are already employed and all 3 of the organizations veto it and it doesn't happen, like, he better have a backup plan, because this approach to go after established head coaches is pretty ridiculous. It's a ambitious way to try to fill in your head coach position is what I'm trying to say. It's pretty ambitious. So let's hope that Leon Rose can pull it off, folks. We shall see. Maybe next week we'll find out. Maybe in a few days we get a big news. You never know. You never know. Let's go Knicks. You never know, man. I want to give a big shout out to the chat real quick. Big time shout out to John in the chat, Jason, my holy king, Paul, my holy king, Zoman. Let's go. Danger Zone in the chat. Ed, Kareem, appreciate you guys big time. Just wrapped up the show on Bleacher Report. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this show, as we always do. Big time shout out to everybody. Massive Knicks news. I'll be providing you guys all the updates you need. Jeffrey's in the chat, my guy. Much love to you, Jeffrey. I think Brunson wants Jason Kidd. I agree, John. I 100% agree. I got to run, folks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was the Knicks Media latest massive Knicks update. All right. I will keep you guys all in the loop right here on Knicks Media. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Salute to the Knicks Nation in the chat. Love you guys so much. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, folks.